Good afternoon. Welcome, everyone, ladies, gentlemen, honourable dignitaries, guests, and of course the Honourable Minister. My name is Kiran Chitkara. I am the MC for today, a lawyer by profession and currently the Company Secretary to the National Board of the Australia-India Business Council, as well as being the National Associate Vice Chair. It is my absolute pleasure to stand before you as your MC and host today. I extend a very warm welcome to everyone to what promises to be an insightful event on bilateral relations between Australia and Andhra Pradesh in India. Before I begin, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners and custodians of the land on which we meet today. I pay my respects to their elders, past and present, as well as emerging leaders. And before I announce our first speaker, just a quick housekeeping note, please. Please put your phones on silent for the duration of today's formal proceedings. The washrooms are located just at the back of the main hall, and lunch will be served after the vote of thanks. Now, it is my pleasure to welcome our first speaker, Mr. Deepak Raj Gupta, OAM. As a former member of the Legislative Assembly in the ACT Parliament, Deepak Raj has played a pivotal role in building stronger ties between Australia and India, whilst also championing multicultural leadership and community engagement. His service has formally been recognised with a Medal of the Order of Australia. Please, everyone, join with me in giving Deepak a warm hand.
Thank you, Kiran. With that kind of introduction, I think I should have you in all the events to give my introduction. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this session with Minister Lokesh and the Government of India and also the Government of Australia. Some of the members are there. Before I begin, I'd like to acknowledge that we are gathered on the land of traditional custodians, and I pay my respect to the elder past, present, and emerging. And of course, to very warm welcome to Minister Lokesh for coming and gracing our many cities, and Melbourne has to be one of them. I was in Adelaide yesterday, and I asked somebody asked me, Minister Lokesh is here? I said, yeah. I said, you gotta say, I want to come. I said, where? You want to come to cricket or you want to come to Melbourne? He said he wants to come to cricket. So that's your fan following, sir, and it's really good to see that, leaders of your stature is coming and really showcasing what India is or India can really offer. I also like to acknowledge our Honourable CGI, Sushil Kumarji, who's been championing here. I think he has the most engagement with all the diaspora. And if anyone needs to know anyone in Melbourne, you should ask him. He'll probably have his address. And of course, to Abhay from CIA, has been championing, bringing lots of delegation to Australia and really working very hard to shrink the gap between the companies, Australia and India. And of course, Ashok Masoor is also former Vice Chair of Australia-India Business Council. And I also like to acknowledge some of my committee members who are present here. Of course, you met Kiran, we got Gini here, we also got Prakash Gupta and Molina is also our industry head for sports and culture, and all the valued AIBC members, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I think it is very important that these engagements align with the vision of ACTA, which is the economic roadmap which has been drafted between India and Australia. And I think engagement like this is really proof that we are really strengthening our relationship with India, sir. And also, especially this aligned with the vision of Australian government as well and vision of Indian government, if you look around. So this is very a timely visit, Minister, and I know coming as one of it's an old region but very young state with new capabilities. And also I'd like to congratulate on 14th of this month, Andhra Pradesh has grabbed 15 billion worth of Google's capability center in Andhra Pradesh. So please, big round of applause. And probably we'd like to see many more such innovative sectors come into India and in Andhra Pradesh. So if we look around with the ACTA 1, I think some of the things I've been hearing and listening from others, and what your plan is for the Australia-India engagement, especially with Andhra Pradesh. I think technology and digital infrastructure is number one, and I think you're championing it. Having Google there is a testament for that. Cloud service, AI, and cybersecurity. Education is a big export of Australia, and also from India as well. So that's one higher education we really want to push between this ACTA agreement. Clean energy, green data center, leveraging Australia expertise in renewables. I always said Australia has expertise, India has expertise and resources. And I think whatever the outage was a few days back with AWS, people said because most of the Indians took holiday for Diwali and that's why the whole thing crashed. Yeah. So that's the power of resources. But I think the way the relationship with Australia and India is going, it is the right time to get engaged with the activities. And thanks to somebody who's tweeting in the middle of the night, it's only benefiting us. So, the relationship with Australia and India is really growing very strong. And in my period in Australia, almost 40 years, I think this is the best time. If we don't leverage now, it'll take time to shrink the gap. Also, sir, Australia-India Business Council was formed in 1986 by two visionary Prime Minister, Bob Hawke and Rajiv Gandhi. Next year, we'll be celebrating our 40th anniversary, and I welcome you all to be part of it. We'll be doing a roadshow all across Australia and in India, and I would really like to, now that Google is there, we also want to come and celebrate with you in Andhra Pradesh, the 40th anniversary. And also, one of the things which is very important at the moment is the two prime ministers are meeting regularly. We're having so many business delegations coming out of India, so it is a testament that, yes, things are really brewing quite well, and we look forward to many such engagements in coming times. And thank you so much for your visit. Really appreciate, and welcome to Melbourne. Welcome to AIBC Victoria chapter.
Thank you, Deepak. Now, I am delighted to welcome Dr. Sushil Kumar, Consul General of India in Melbourne, to the dais. Now, Deepak has said this in quite a jovial manner, but I do want to formally say that Dr. Sushil Kumar is certainly a very highly regarded individual. He is very active in all events related to the Indian diaspora in Melbourne, and so there is much respect for his expertise and service. Please join with me in giving him a warm hand.
Thanks, Kiran. Namaskar. Good afternoon. I would also like to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we have gathered here today and pay my respect to their elders, past, present, and emerging. I would also like to acknowledge Honorable Sri Nara Lokesh Garuji, Minister for Information Technology, Electronics and Industries, Government of Andhra Pradesh, Deepak Raj Gupta ji, National Chair for Australia-India Business Council, Ashok Mysore ji, very good friend, past Chair of CII IBF, Abhay Mehta ji from CII, representatives from government and the business community, members of AIBC, friends, ladies and gentlemen. It is a privilege to join you at this special road show of the CII Partnership Summit here in Melbourne. I warmly welcome the distinguished Andhra Pradesh delegation led by Sri Nara Lokesh Garu, who brings with him a vision of innovation-driven, inclusive growth that Andhra Pradesh is championing today. This visit reflects the deepening partnership between India and Australia, and more specifically, the growing state-to-state and business-to-business connections. I would like to thank DFAT for facilitating this visit and also supporting AIBC and CII for organizing this event. India today stands at an inflection point, a nation of 1.4 billion people moving ahead with confidence and optimism. Under the vision of Prime Minister Honorable Narendra Modi, India is pursuing reforms and resilience hand in hand. India's sustained reform efforts and strategic initiatives have created and attractive environment for global investors seeking diversified supply chains. India is not just a large market, it is a trusted supply chain partner and a knowledge powerhouse. Andhra Pradesh, with its strategic coastline, strong industrial infrastructure, and progressive policies, is emerging as a key investment destination in India. Its focus on technology, renewable energy, manufacturing, logistics, and agribusiness aligns closely with Australia's and Victoria's strengths. Sri Lokesh Garu's leadership has placed particular emphasis on digital transformation and industrial growth, creating opportunities for collaboration in IT, renewable energy, advanced manufacturing and education. And I was pleased to join Honourable Minister yesterday at University of Melbourne to explore further collaboration and strengthening in educational partnership between Andhra Pradesh and Melbourne University. The CII Partnership Summit to be held soon in Andhra Pradesh will be a major global platform to engage investors, innovators, and industry leaders from across the world. I request Australian partners, particularly from Victoria, to actively participate and explore new synergies with Andhra Pradesh and India's broader growth story. Our bilateral ties have never been stronger. As Prime Minister Albanese says, the sky is the limit. Victoria is home to the largest number of Indian diaspora, and I have many Telugu friends here who have requested me to facilitate a meeting with Honourable Minister. You are very popular among the Telugu community, and they really want to meet you. And I don't know, DFAT has packed your program and meetings. So, dear friend, we have really strong collaborations in various sectors. The India-Australia relationship stands as a model of how shared values and economic complementarities can drive mutual growth. Today's roadshow is not just about promoting a summit. It is about building bridges of opportunity between our people, business, and governments. I would like to thank CII and AIBC for organizing this roadshow and looking forward for a wonderful session ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Sushil Kumar. Now, as we move towards the formal proceedings of this afternoon's events, it's a pleasure to welcome Mr. Aju Anthony, Associate Vice President of the Andhra Pradesh Economic Development Board, to share with us his presentation on the CII Partnership Summit. Please do join together to welcome Mr. Anthony.
Good afternoon, Honourable Minister, Consul General, Deepak from Australian Business Council, well-wishers of the India-Australia Business Fraternity, ladies and gentlemen. This is more than a presentation. This is an invitation to be part of India's growth story, this growth story of Andhra Pradesh. Andhra Pradesh, the sunrise state of India where ambition meets opportunity. Today, we begin a compelling story of remarkable growth, strategic vision, and a firm commitment to the prosperity of its citizens. This is a dynamic narrative and of global collaboration, mutual economic growth that you all can be part of. Picture this, a state with a geographical area of 160,000 square kilometers, 53 million people, representing 4% of India's population, a GSDP of $180 billion and still rising. An export, we sell to the world about $20 billion, making a 5% of India's exports. Our economy is a mix of agriculture, services, industry. This isn't just growth, this is momentum. Our long-term vision from Vikasit Bharat to Swarna Andhra 2047 focuses on creating wealth, health, and prosperity and a happy society. We are employing a mission-driven approach, a P4 model, strategy for equitable society. By 2047, we envision to contribute $2.4 trillion to the Indian economy. Our goal is to achieve per capita income of over $42,000 per citizen. And how will we achieve this? This inclusive development, mission-driven governance. Therefore, the future for us isn't waiting, we are creating it. Our aspirational goals for Andhra Pradesh set the stage for transformational growth in key social and economic indicators. By 2047, we want 100% literacy. We want 80% of our female population to be part of the labor force. Urbanization to be taken to 60%. Aiming for 95% skilled workforce. This is textbook transformation, I tell you. We work on strong and proven pillars. Governance that enables, not obstructs. Amravati, a greenfield capital city, developing a world-class city and a planned capital city. Water security, no more scarcity, only sustainability. Industrial infrastructure, global logistics hub enhancing connectivity and trade efficiency. Green energy and fuel, leading by example. One family, one entrepreneur, which basically looks into the idea of grassroots entrepreneurship. A future-ready workforce, product perfection, made in AP, trusted globally. These aren't ideas. They are already in motion. Our future-looking policy framework is designed to drive sustainability and inclusive growth in AP. The guiding principles were product perfection, speed of doing business, reduced cost of logistics, employment creation, future-ready technology, circular economy. They all are bedrock to boost the industrial growth. Sectoral policies covering aerospace, defense, food processing, leather footwear, MSME, maritime, just to name a few, to create our Industrial Development Policy 4.0, serving 44 thematic policy frameworks addressing specific sectors and areas of development. Blessed with a coastline of 1,053 kilometers, Andhra Pradesh is strategically positioned to be the gateway to the east. 6 operating ports with 330 million metric tons per annum capacity. Additionally, 4 ports, greenfield ports, are being built. The advantage of a maritime ecosystem is that it can approximately handle 40% of the east-going cargo from the eastern coast. We have identified 50 coastal creeks and sites suitable for shipbuilding and maritime-related activities. Andhra Pradesh isn't just open for business. We are the door for your business to India. Aviation, where sky is not just the limit. The Honorable Minister keeps saying about vertical integration and horizontal integration. We have 7 operational and 9 greenfield airports being built. Our manufacturing and MRO facility coming up in Kurnool, Donakonda, Tirupati, Lepakshi, Madakasira, etc. Even sky is not the limit. Where others built airports, we are building an aviation revolution. Rail and road network. Our total road length, covering more than 160,000 kilometers, can circle the globe, I think probably 4 times. The rail network of 9,000 kilometers. Good people, goods, people, ideas, everything moves faster in Andhra Pradesh. The inland waterway system, the silent giant of AP. We have approximately 900 kilometers of inland navigable waterways. Why drive when you can glide? The economic corridors. Our strategy is to drive economic growth, including development of key economic corridors and specialized clusters, like, for example, the Quantum Valley, the Aerospace City, the Drone City, promoting drone industry for various applications. And we saw the effect of drones in modern warfare and various things during Operation Sindhu. The Space City, Electronic City, Pharma City, you name any city, we are building it for you. The Ratan Tata Innovation Hub, one family, one entrepreneurship, empowers grassroots entrepreneurship and innovation across Andhra Pradesh. RTIH is the bedrock of this mission because real growth starts at home. tourism, beaches, wildlife, heritage. AP, Andhra Pradesh has everything minus the crowds. We have identified 7 anchor hubs, 25 thematic circuits, showcase our divergent tourist offerings. Our natural attractions include 3 national parks, 13 wildlife sanctuaries, ensuring ecological preservation and biodiversity. Private investment in tourism is projected to be 2.9 billion, and from approximately 20,000 keys, we are projected to reach 50,000 keys in 2029. And we are just getting started. We have secured about $117 billion worth of investment, creating 8 lakh jobs in the state. This train is moving, jump on. Amravati, the future-ready city will feature state-of-the-art institutions, world-class infrastructure, 100% green buildings, and 100% electric vehicles, district cooling infrastructure, and integrated underground utilities in place. The technology skill force, the 38 million individuals, I believe it is 38 million opportunities. The Naipunyam Digital Skill Initiative empowers our talent workforce through continuous learning and skilling programs. Talent isn't hired here, it is grown here. From AP to AI, large-scale skilling initiatives in AI and cloud technologies, the Google's commitment to AP, Andhra Pradesh, including a $15 billion commitment. I believe the future is going to be speaking Python and Telugu. Governance. We are revolutionizing governance through Governance 4.0 initiative anchored by the Quantum Valley in Amravati. And what about government services? We put them everything on WhatsApp, 700 plus services, 0 paper, real-time governance, AI-driven decisions. Finally, governance that works at your speed. Strategic clusters, including the Quantum Hydrogen Valley. Our commitment to innovation and sustainable development is manifested through strategic clusters. Green Hydrogen Valley, Quantum Valley, aerospace cities, drone cities, space cities, electronic cities, just to name a few. And always, the goal in mind is to be sustainable. We aim for renewable energy capacity of 500 gigawatts for India, 160 to be achieved by the year 2030. The sunrise state turns sunlight into hydrogen and then into gold for you. High impact investment opportunities in Andhra Pradesh include in food processing, deep tech, electronics, the capital city Amravati, waterways, pharma, biotech, tourism, rare earth elements. Pick a sector, we'll handle the rest. All this with the advantage of being part of the great country called India. India is on track to become the 3rd largest economy, the strategic long term for us to be the #1 in the world. Therefore, the goal of 2047 of India is being achieved, and AP is a partner for, Andhra Pradesh is an integral part of this growth. Andhra Pradesh benefits from India's inherent advantages, creating a compelling investment environment. The 21st century belongs to us, where innovation, technology, and skilled talent converge to create an unprecedented opportunity. Andhra Pradesh is a key driver of India's growth, contributing significantly to the nation's economic progress. If I didn't convince you enough, and if the investors are feeling fear of missing out, FOMO, please join us to the Partnership Summit in November. Let's build the future together. With that, I conclude my words. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Anthony, for that very compelling presentation. For what it's worth, you've convinced me. Now it is an absolute privilege to be able to welcome to the dais the Honourable Minister Nara Lokesh, Minister for Information, Technology, Electronics, Communication, Real-Time Governance and Human Resources Development for the government of Andhra Pradesh. Mr. Lokesh Nara is an influential and forward-thinking leader deeply committed to shaping the future of Andhra Pradesh through digital innovation and inclusive governance. He has positioned the state as a global technology hub, as we've just seen, making it a premier destination for IT and electronics investments. Please do join with me in welcoming the Honourable Minister Nara Lokesh to the stage.
I think after Anthony's presentation, there's nothing much left for me. I think he did a good job selling the state. Before I start, I'd like to thank Dr. Sushil Kumar ji, CGI Melbourne. Thank you for having me over. Deepak ji, who's the National Chair of AIBC. Really appreciate your time. And Ashok ji, who's the past chair of CII. Thank you very much for having us. And I'd like to personally thank the Australian government for having me on their special visit program. They really worked hard getting me all the way to Australia, down under. So just to give you a bit of context, I won't bore you with a long speech, but I'll give you 3 reasons why you should consider Andhra Pradesh as your destination in India. Number 1, we have a leadership with proven track record. Our Premier, Mr. Naidu, is now in version 4.0. This is his 4th term as a Chief Minister. He comes with a lot of experience on how to get critical projects grounded. His experience working with the Government of India also helps ensuring that you have a soft landing in not only in India but in the state of Andhra Pradesh. He is of course backed with a very young team. 50% of the legislatures are first-timers, 17 out of the 25 ministers are first-timers. It's not my grey hair, but I'm actually a senior minister in his cabinet. So we bring a lot of passion, a lot of energy to get things done. The second reason you should consider Andhra Pradesh is because we are a startup state. We have that mentality to get things done. We are not complacent. And once you shake hands with us, it no longer is your project, it becomes our project. So I'll give you an example of this. When we talk to any investor and they're looking at Andhra Pradesh, first thing that gets done is a WhatsApp group gets created. All the respective leadership across the political spectrum, the government and the private sector are added to this WhatsApp group. And then on a daily basis, we actually start interacting with each other to understand what's the status, what's the agreed timelines, where are we stuck, what are the areas that we can do better. You know, one company, and one example of this is one company which is into the hospitality sector. This morning we updated them where exactly is the land allocation status, where is the file, and by when are we going to get it cleared. So we believe on delivering it. We believe on following up on your project and ensuring that we not only meet your timelines, but we actually beat it. So 2 other projects I'd like to talk about. One is Google. And all of you have now heard of it. It's a nice wow. But 13 months of hard work went behind it. So when the leadership came, I personally drove them, I showed them where the project will come up, followed by me visiting the corporate office and pitching to their leadership on why Andhra Pradesh, followed by their leadership coming and meeting our Premier in Andhra Pradesh. And there were specific requests which required policy intervention, policy changes at the federal level. And we worked with the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji. We worked with our Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman Madam and the IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnav ji. And we brought about the changes that were required to not only land Google in India, but to actually make India the next destination for data centers across the world. It took us 13 months, which was 1 month more than what we agreed we'll deliver it. So we still regret the fact that we took a month more. But 13 months we got that done. The other project I like to talk about is ArcelorMittal, building India's largest steel plant in our state. This project pretty much got discussed over a Zoom call between me and Adit. It was, in the Zoom call, we agreed on 3 specific asks that they had, and one of it had to do with the federal government. The Honorable Chief Minister met the Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji, and across the table, they literally agreed on the way forward, got the project cleared, and in November, we are laying foundation. That's 15 months. We got environmental hearing done. Environmental clearance is also done. In the last 16 months, we have attracted $120 billion worth of investments to this great state of Andhra Pradesh, and I believe we're just starting. There's a lot more to do. We're really excited to work with you. India is a tough terrain, but we are here to ensure that you have a soft landing, and I'm sure under the guidance of CG sir here also, we will support any initiative that you have in India and in our state of Andhra Pradesh. The third reason why you should consider Andhra Pradesh is the political leadership of Andhra Pradesh is from a regional party. So we are a political party that's in 2 states, but we have our nation at heart. So we have always influenced policy positively in the interest of the nation, and in the process, Andhra Pradesh always had the first mover advantage. And it's not the first time we've done it. As I said, I have a leader who's in his version 4.0. This is his 4th term. In the past, he's worked on deregulation of telecom sector, aviation sector. In his 3rd avatar, he worked on the digital payments network, and now we worked on the data center policy at the federal level. So we can positively move policy, we can positively change policy. The world, as you know, is going through interesting times, challenging times, and challenging times is when India always shines. We only do well when we are pushed to the corner. So I'm now working on a project where all the self-made billionaires of India are coming together, advising us on what is the policy changes they want to see at the state level, at the federal level. And as a state, we're going to spearhead it. Labor reforms is one great example of it. There were 9 reforms that were specifically asked of us. We got 8 of them done in 15 days. And why 15 days? Because our cabinet meeting happens once every 15 days. If your project is more important, strategic, we will call for a special cabinet meeting. That's the pace at which Andhra Pradesh actually works. And this project that we are doing, we have given ourselves 90 days. We are going to bring about the changes that are required at the state level, and we will work with the federal government to look at what we can change to ensure that India will grow at double digit. As my colleague has just shared, we are a $180 billion economy, aspiring to be a $2.4 trillion economy. So all sectors are game. It's not that we're focused on 1, 2, 3. We have close to 15 sectors that we're focused on. I believe in the power of clusterization. This is something that we can learn from our neighbors. We have a cluster around automotive. 9% of Kia's global manufacturing happens in my state. We have cement cluster, we have renewable energy cluster, we have the electronics cluster, compressed biogas, medical devices manufacturing, quantum computing, aqua is another cluster. We have pharma as a cluster, we have steel as a cluster. Like this, we have close to 15 clusters where we are now working on a vertical and horizontal integration. Now, what do I mean by it? Vertical is, a great example of that is if you take your mobile phone, you have your screen, and you have the camera module, you have the camera lens, you have the haptic engine, the battery, the casing. We believe that the entire cluster should be formed within the 100-kilometer radius. That's the vertical bit. Now, horizontal is where I come in, education, skilling, certification. This is very, very important. I'll give you a few more numbers. Andhra Pradesh manufactures 50% of India's air conditioners. And we've signed 3 companies that will take us to 70% in the next 18 months. We are number 1 in shrimp globally. Like this, we are working on sector by sector on taking key position. We are building India's first space city, and that's being headed by Skyroot, which is a SpaceX equivalent in India. So we're really working sector by sector, and we're really excited to work on this horizontal and vertical integration. Australian universities, we've had very, very meaningful conversation during this trip, and rest assured, we'll be looking forward to actually working with them very closely on the horizontal integration bit. And the reason I believe horizontal is going to be critical, it's not just about the education piece. Getting the technology validated, certified, it's a very expensive process. An air conditioning company came and met me, and they said, we are developing heat pumps for the Europe. And the challenge is every time I do design changes, I need to send it there with 2 of my engineers. 1, it takes time. Two, it's very expensive. So why are they not here in this cluster? I think that's a phenomenally good point that they added. So that's the kind of ecosystem we want to now build. And you'll see this getting delivered across 15 clusters. So that's, in short, why you should consider Andhra Pradesh. We are the second largest, fastest growing states right now, soon to be number one, with all these investments getting grounded. We don't believe in signing MOUs. We are not into that. We mean business, we mean grounding. We have serious ADD, attention deficit disorder, so we love to be on top of things and execute on things and really get the ball rolling. So as my team members have shared, we are hosting a partnership summit in Visakhapatnam. It's a beautiful city, 14th and 15th of November. So please come visit us. For people who know India, if Bangalore were to marry Goa and have a child, that will be Visakhapatnam. We have best of both worlds. It's a gorgeous city. It's the 9th largest economic city in India. We aspire to be among the top 3. And Visakhapatnam Economic Corridor, as we call it, is going to be $1 trillion economic corridor for us. So we're looking now planning, because we've had massive investments, massive announcements come in and work started. We don't have challenges that our neighbors are having in terms of infrastructure. We have to build an economic corridor that will thrive over the next century. And the work is already on. So please come visit us. I'll be there. We'll be more than happy to host you. And I would love to open up this session for any questions that you might have. Thank you very much, and Jai Hind.
Lucky first. Even before I ask my question, I'll introduce myself. My name is Veera De Silva. I'm a true Bangalorean, but married to a Telugu. And I've realized that movies are everything, and your father-in-law's dialogues make it common conversation for us at home. So, starting with that, Minister Lokesh, you've often spoken about positioning Andhra Pradesh as India's next startup state. I personally, and my husband as well, we've spent the last 2 decades in Australia building and scaling up technology ventures. I've seen how ecosystems mature when innovation is made sustainable, not just exciting. Now, how does your government envision creating a sustainable startup ecosystem in Andhra Pradesh? And I'm particularly interested about long-term digital assets, such as blockchain infrastructure, CBDCs, or proof-of-stake technologies. And would you be open to exploring global collaboration models that have worked well in markets like Australia?
I think it's a very valid question. We believe in the power of mentoring for any startups. There's capital available everywhere, but there's no mentoring available. So the approach that we've taken is we've created an incubator/accelerator, which is the Ratan Tata Innovation Hub, which is based out of our greenfield capital city, Amravati. And then we have nodes across the various strategically important areas. So we have another 4 nodes. And each of these nodes and the main hub are working with the private sector. So we have Tata's and their leadership mentoring the node in Amravati. We have Adani's mentoring a node, Jindal's mentoring a node, Greenco, which is a homegrown renewable energy company, they're mentoring a node. There's Mega, which is an infrastructure company, again homegrown, they're mentoring a node. So, and it's 1, we got the private sector. 2, we got the academia. So we got all the private government universities in those nodes in the areas that they are to also be part of this. And then we are backing it with funds. As a state, my strong belief is government shouldn't be spending money directly. We should raise fund of funds. Right? I think now we are at that position as a country that we can do it. So we're looking at innovative models where money is actually being raised. This entire initiative is being headed by a very young IAS officer. She is from IIT Kharagpur. So we matched bureaucratic leadership, political leadership, and the entire process around it. We just launched it, I think, about 45 days back. So we'll be more than happy to engage. So the Economic Development Board representatives will be staying back. So, they'll be the first port of call, and they can lead conversations from there. They can introduce you to the CEO of RTIH. So thank you.
presenting so forcefully the argument for investment in Bangladesh. My name is Mark Martinstein. I'm a chartered accountant in practice. I work with many big companies that are invested in Australia.
Yeah.
So you make a powerful argument for investing in Bangladesh. One of the slides touched very briefly on the explosive growth of exports. Can you enlighten me and the others where those exports will be focused and how they will impact on Australia?
If you look at currently, we have a position in textiles. We have a position, of course, in aqua. As I said, we are number one in shrimp. And a few other sectors that we are actually doing quite reasonably well. Kia cars made in Andhra Pradesh do get exported around our region. So we have taken a strong position there. Of course, IT exports continue to grow in my state. So that's very, very important. To specifically answer your question, I believe it's a two-way trade. So the way I look at it is the great opportunities for Indian entrepreneurs and Andhra companies to actually look at investments in Australia. So, I mean, to be fair, the government has been exceptionally proactive, and the conversations that I've had at the federal level, at the state level, also at, city council levels. I mean, it's been very inspiring, the kind of vision that the politicians here also have. So we've started looking at, and we started talking to companies in my state, some who are based out of my state, some who have invested in my state, to look at opportunities in Australia. Sectors like hospitality, critical minerals, education, skill development. So and these were sectors that we were discussed. In terms of what Australia can offer to India, sports is one sector that we're looking at. Of course, skill development is a no-brainer. As we all know it, education, we're already quite big in terms of our relationships. So I think there's clear sectors that we've identified where we, Australian companies can also look at investing in my state. In terms of exports, I think we live in a very dynamic world. And I believe that every country and every state should diversify and have look at other countries and other states. So historically, as a state, certain sectors have been very reliant on certain countries. And then with the changing politics, we've had challenges. So after that, we've insisted that our exporters also look at new markets and look at products where there is a gap in that market. So it's not about saying, I have this, so will you take it or not? But to actually analyze the market and find the right product at the right price point and the right sort of a fit. That's one thing I said. To the Australian companies, especially who are in commodities, in Sydney, I had a sit-down lunch with quite a few of them. I've asked them to look beyond wheat and certain commodities. You know, there's so much of potential in things like mushrooms and horticulture. There's massive opportunities that India has, and we can make, and especially Andhra Pradesh, which is among the top 5 states in horticulture, aspiring to be number 1. We can export to the world. And you know, our vision is not to just make the local variants of mango, but to make the Japanese variant, to grow the Japanese variant of mango in Andhra Pradesh. So there are amazing opportunities like that where I think we should look at, based on the companies that you represent, and explore opportunities through either, I think, it's Australia Trade, Austrade, or of course our Economic Development Board, and find opportunities of mutual interest. It's a long answer for a short question, but I've understood that I think it's a two-way trade from Andhra's perspective. Thank you.
Hi, Swati. Minister, I have one question. You spoke a lot about possible potential association with the education sector in Australia. I'm quite keen to interested. What do you mean by that? And second, very interested in figuring out how's the brain drain and the brain going back to the country, and that association will come along. There are enough people you see out here who come as students, never go back, while India does, with the kind of development you're seeing happening in AP. I think we'll do a lot with people going back as well and coming here with a more strategic vision. And another question, a little longish, but wanted to understand, Australian universities rank amongst top 50 in the world, but don't come as the priority for Indian students as such so much. How do we make sure that that starts emerging, and not because of visa issues, but more because of priority?
But not anymore. Australia is now figuring among the top 3 choices.
I still feel it's because of visa issues.
Actually, that's what I thought. But I mean, looking at the energy and looking at the kind of, students from my state who are here, wherever I go, the kind of reception I get. So, I mean, it's quite impressive, the number of students who are coming. I think, you see, in the early 90s or 80s, yes, US was seen as an option. I'm a product of US education. So, no second thoughts about it. But I believe that Australia is really catching up. So, your last question answered first. In terms of brain gain, I'm a product of brain gain. I'm a Stanford MBA. But went back and decided that policy is where my heart is and true transformation can actually happen from there. But I think it's a continuous journey. I think there's no one silver bullet for it. I think it's continuous interaction. And as states, we need to work exceptionally hard to make sure the landing is soft. I mean, India is not exactly an easy country, but we need to work very systematically and build it out. And that's where policymakers have a role, that's where bureaucrats have a role. Together, we should create a very conducive environment, and that's what we're working on very systematically. And to be fair, from Andhra's perspective, we are not transactional state. We are very long-term relation building state. And that is the DNA of the regional party. So if you look at it, Mr. Naidu has had relationship with Mr. Lee Kuan Yew of Singapore way back, starting in the 90s. And that relation continues. And it's only deepened. And, that's exactly what even the Australian government is looking for. So I think that kind of deep, meaningful relationships are going to be important, and building the super highways of investments to make it smooth for landing. And only then will we have brain gain in its true sense. But end of the day, I think our kids have an opportunity to go be global citizens, and wherever opportunities are there, I think they should go and be part of it, be part of that journey. In terms of universities here, Aussie universities and collaborations with Andhra Pradesh, I've specifically stated a few sectors that we are interested, but it's about 15 clusters that we're interested. And the way I look at it is, who's the best in that cluster? Aussie universities are good across, 10 domains, but they're really, really good at 2-3 domains, like any other global universities are. So I'm looking at working with them, bringing them in, bringing the private sector in, and of course giving an opportunity to local colleges, universities to host a center of excellence or a joint dual degree program, research projects together and do that. See, it's designed in Aussie, Australia, manufactured in Andhra Pradesh. I think it's best of both worlds, right? That's what we want to do. Now, what do I mean by it? Aqua. Right? I met the leadership of James Cook University, who are exceptionally good in aqua, and the professor had very technical questions for me. Like, which variant, what's the name, what's the number? I said, okay, I'm not into that depth. I'll have my agriculture minister talk to you. I really don't have that kind of depth in that sector, but we want to work. So we are talking about, okay, let's look at research facilities. How do we go about with it? New variants, how do we get the farmers to move up the value chain? Then the New South Wales University, we spoke about solar panel design, engineering. The technology that came out of New South Wales University is supplied to 90% of solar panels globally. And I have 5 out of the 10 manufacturers in Andhra Pradesh with an annual output capacity of 100 gigawatts. But I don't have a technical program around it. I don't have a skill upgradation program around it. So I'm going to work with them. So what am I going to do? I'm going to bring these 5 companies together, the university together, and of course local institution. Could be IIT Tirupati, a few other colleges in that region, and to come together and build this entire ecosystem. So that's the thought process that I currently have. Same thing with hospitality, because we already have signed about 7,500 keys. They're under construction in different phases. So I want to bring all of them together and then bring TAFE as a partner and look at how do we build this hospitality also out. Because if 50,000 keys will be done, and then the question will be asked, where's the talent? So before that happens, I don't want the cart to be ahead of the horse. I want the horse to lead. So I need to build the talent workforce. So, yeah. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Lokesh. My name is Ram Sami. I'm from Space Angel, and I'm here.
Space Angel.
Yes,
Nice.
fact, it's very reassuring to hear that you say no more MOUs. We actually flew from Perth to come and see you. And glad that we are into action-oriented companies. But look, myself, I'm from the aerospace sector, and you mentioned Space City.
Yep.
In fact, I've actually been to SHARK, which is Sriharikota.
Sriharikota, yeah.
Been with Chairman Somnath, who's your advisor now for Andhra Pradesh State. My question is, you said that you're doing things in aerospace, in Space City and so on, and in fact we've got an MOU with Skyrim as well.
Nice.
We'd like to understand what are the execution aspects that we're looking at in terms of Space City, which are the focus areas, given you, in your state you have the space spot of India in your state. What is your focus? Is it upstream, downstream? What are the areas that you guys are thinking of focusing on?
See, it's the way our approach is end-to-end. So I'm not looking at taking a position on one thing. So I'm not building a 300-acre launch pad. I'm building a 5,000-acre space city. And that's where Skyroot is coming, and I met the leadership of Skyroot. Amazing leadership, and they are coming and building it out. And they're going to be the anchor of building the entire ecosystem. So from material sciences all the way up to designing, executing on the satellite level is what we want to build capacity in this ecosystem. And that's the approach I'm taking. So, I mean, I understand electronics far better because I'm the Minister for Electronics. So for me, it's not about just getting the display, right? It's about getting the entire ecosystem, including design, including research. And that is what makes it even more exciting for Andhra Pradesh. So that's been our approach. In terms of defense and aviation, in that sense, Raymond's has made a big announcement where they're going to work with a large OEM. I can't name it because I'm under NDA. I don't want to get into trouble and be sued. So the idea is we're going to build that out, work with them, build their ecosystem. I met the leadership of the OEM. I didn't ask them to come down. I said, give me a Rolodex. I said, I want to understand who are all your suppliers. What does it take to build the end product that you do? And who are all your suppliers? I'll go get them. Then you'll have no choice but to come to my state. And that's the approach that I've been taking. So we'll be more than happy to engage and work with you.
Sure, absolutely.
And build this out. Yeah. So the Economic Development Board team is here. The two lovely ladies on your right. And there's two gentlemen on your left. So they'll be here to take follow-up discussion. Yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah. So this I think we are running out of time.
You're local. You can get me whenever you want. So.
You have to take one more question before we...
Yeah, anything on that end? I mean, that's the quiet corner, so... Yeah, please. Thinking corner. Why not?
My name is Surya Karapati. I'm a owner of Rising Boost, a sports startup. This is to speak about sport in Andhra Pradesh. What specific elements you are looking at, or what's the focus we can do to come to Andhra Pradesh?
Focus as in, can you please define it? I mean, you're saying which sport are we going to focus on, or what is the ecosystem?
Is it a mentoring, is it infrastructure, or is it development in the sports coming to Andhra Pradesh? So any particular space you're looking at?
So I met Griffith University, spent considerable amount of time with the leadership there, got a tour. Then I met Populous Architects, who are known for building world-class sporting infrastructure and understood the projects around the world. And now I'm going to Melbourne Cricket Stadium and meeting the Australian Cricket Authority to understand the grassroots movement. So I think if this meetings, I think, will give you an idea that you're looking at it again end to end. So unlike my competitors as in my other states, I believe in the power of ecosystem. So now let me look at sports. Let me just sort of break it down. Yes, we are looking at building sports cities of sorts, where you have stadiums, you have grounds, you have convention, you have hotels, and for me it was like, how do we do it? What's the land size? What kind of investments? What are the different models? Hybrid annuity, boot, PPP. This is a discussion that I already had. Then I'm working with Griffith on saying, how do we build a rock solid curriculum? Right? I mean, let's not talk about Olympic gold medals only when there's Olympics, right? We should work towards it. It's not going to happen overnight. So why as a nation we're not doing it? So there's not been a systemic, rigorous approach towards it. So how do we build that? And what's the magic sauce that Griffith has? And the understanding that we have is now, let's start now. Well, because there is sports infrastructure already available. Let's start working while we build, of course, world-class sports infrastructure as we go. So education, the entire ecosystem, infrastructure, and then we are also doing a grassroots movement. So we are doing sports at a very village level to identify talent very early on, who can be nurtured, who can be built on, and then work with them through their education, because it's not exactly that, it's not easy to pursue both a sporting career and an academic excellence. It's a tough balance. So you need to have a curriculum that's very understanding of it. So, if it means that, I can't attend for any exams in the next 3 months because I have certain competitive program coming up, and, we should be accommodating of it. So as a policymaker, I need to have that kind of an environment. And that's exactly what we are also working on. So it's pretty much end to end. So that's why I keep saying cluster. So I keep getting pushed back saying, tell me what's that one thing. That's the wrong approach, in my humble opinion. The power is actually in the cluster. So, after we signed Google's investment of $15 billion, so on the way back, I flew with the Honorable Chief Minister, our Premier, back. 2 hours, his entire direction was how do you build an ecosystem. His point was very clear, this is just the beginning, this is the seed. But his direction to me was, how do you create a 25x multiplier impact? So for him, look at what he's done to Hyderabad, right? ISB was the seed. Microsoft setting up the first development center outside Seattle was the seed. But we didn't stop there. Look what Hyderabad is today. We are taking that kind of approach, but across 15 sectors. Genome Valley in Hyderabad is another great example of what Mr. Naidu's contribution to the state and the nation is. We are one of the very few countries to have a domestic vaccine for COVID. I think 4 countries or 5 countries in the world. We are one of them. And that is an Hyderabad company. The vaccine was discovered, manufactured in Genome Valley. Right? But the foundations were laid in the late 90s. And Mr. Yella came to meet Mr. Naidu about his trying to set up Bharat Biotech, but then they got about with this idea of doing a Genome Valley. And Krishna Yella actually played a very, very important role in the vision of doing Genome Valley. That's the power of a cluster. So it was not about one Bharat Biotech, but it was about building the entire ecosystem, the cluster. But I think we've learned a lot. As a political establishment, we've learned a lot. As a state, we've learned a lot. So now we are really focused on this vertical and horizontal integration. Every speech of mine, every meeting of mine, you'll hear this again and again, vertical and horizontal integration, because I truly believe in it. And that's where, as an HRD minister, I've realized that there's a much larger role for me to play. So sports, end-to-end. Space, again, end-to-end. Aqua, end-to-end. That's the kind of approach we're taking. Yeah? Correct? Yes. Sports, arts. We had again an opportunity to meet up with certain leadership. Handloom is very big. Handloom is very big in my own constituency called Mangalgiri. So all the shawls I'm giving is actually from my constituency. So there's a lot of work we can do. Our saris, our artworks are there to be preserved. Our coffee, Arku coffee, grown by tribals. It's very well known. We have a store in Paris. This is being led by Nandi Foundation, which was started by Dr. Anji Reddy of Dr. Reddy Labs, and now it is being led by Anand Mahendraji. Anandji is now leading Nandi Foundation, and we are really excited to take Arku coffee to the world and give Starbucks a run for the money.
Coffee here coming from
Absolutely.
Fashion event as part of the Melbourne Fashion Week, day before yesterday, exploring the collaborations in the textile and AI and manufacturing and all of that in the fashion sector.
So I'll introduce you to Suchitra Yella, who's also a Padma Shri recipient. She has been tasked with creating a vibrant handloom ecosystem, arts ecosystem in Andhra Pradesh. So out of her sheer love, she's doing it for the state. So I'll, nice. So I'll tell Suchitra auntie, and she'll reach out to you. I'll take your numbers and contacts. Thank you very much, and Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister, for those fascinating insights. I think there's just so much to take in and learn from that. Now, I would just like to welcome our last speaker, Mr. Ashok Mysore, the immediate past chair of the CII-IBF. He will offer a formal vote of thanks. Please do join with me in welcoming Mr. Ashok to the dais.
Thanks so much, Kiran, for that. So I've got the easiest job. All I need to do is to summarize a few bullet points of, the wisdom and basically the experiences shared by all three of you. Or do ChatGPT? No, I think we can't do that, I think, at this point. Yeah.
I'm walking around with it. AI to summarize me.
No, like I think it is, my job was also to do the Q&A. I think it is very, very topical that, Lokesh Garu himself actually, picked that one up and, wanting to have these interactions directly with the people. And I think it is very reflective of the government, of the state government that you are part of, sir, and the ministry that you are actually doing there. So just to basically, I think Deepak ji started with, talking about the Australia-India relations, around the defense, security, trade, economics stuff, what has actually happened in terms of ECTA in 22, and followed by a very, I guess, an active conversation participation in concluding CICA very soon, and, allowing, I guess, the two countries to trade freely. So we also heard from our honorable CGI, Sushil ji, around the importance of, the people-to-people education, the ability to actually do seamlessly, trade between the two countries, and basically have a multiplier effect around that. So we spoke about, I guess, a lot of things around the technology parts, around, AI, security, IoT, digital health, water management, telemedicine, and a lot of these. But if I just want to kind of, summarize, I guess, the three reasons why, sir, you basically said why Andhra Pradesh is important, just to actually remind the people, of course, the leadership, which you did mention about the 4.0, the longevity of that. But combined with that is basically young minds, I mean, including yourself and the rest of the ministry, which you were saying, a very large percentage, I can't remember, I think 50+% of the... 19 out of 25. There you go, awesome. So it is about actually thinking on the policies, which is, for the first time, I guess, in the decade where they are actually in step with the business, with the technology, so that there are proper guardrails, there are good guidelines for these businesses to thrive. So you did actually mention, about the startup and the way you actually give a soft landing. I think you did mention that multiple times. Generally, people have this notion of, going to India and doing business there is, one, it is difficult, and second is risky. But I think a lot of people hearing, from leaders like yourself, are understanding that, managing, looking at risk as part of that is good, but it's not risky to do business in India. And I think it's a breath of fresh air to really see, kind of a concierge that you have actually set up for the soft landing for businesses. Of course, your intention is basically to, kind of attract large businesses like what you have actually done with, let's say, Google or ArcelorMittal, etc. But I think MSME is a very strong sector for both India and for Australia, where I guess 83% of the people are actually employed in that. So I'm hoping that the concierge services to basically make that soft landing also easy for MSMEs on both sides would basically take advantage of what they have actually learned from these large deals that you have actually done. The clusters, I think we heard so many times you mention about clusters, and I'm sure we'll read more about how media would actually cover your tour to Australia, having conversations around these end-to-end things, around the 15 plus clusters, which is what you're actually focusing on. And I think, historically, Australia also has the notion of actually having a vertically integrated, industry or a vertically integrated, innovation. So I think those things actually lends very, very nicely to itself. And of course, you need to actually pick the best parts from different universities or different institutions, be it around quantum, be it around hydrogen, etc. So, obviously Australia can actually provide a lot of inputs in there. But equally, I guess we would love to actually have a lot more of the Indian establishments, the MSMEs, to come to Australia and basically leverage the opportunities that is there here. Equally, I think providing that conduit, and I guess you've already laid out why Andhra Pradesh is so attractive, and hopefully people in the audience and those who actually are running the startup, the entrepreneurs, and those who have actually basically scale-ups will actually consider Andhra Pradesh very seriously on that. But before I close, I think it'll be wrong for me not to actually give the plug-in from the CII perspective around the around the partnership summit, the CII Partnership Summit, which is actually happening in Visakhapatnam, and Andhra Pradesh is basically chairing this along with Shri Piyush Goyal. And again, for those of you who may not know, so this is a conclave where ministers from commerce and trade, leading CEOs, thought leaders from around the globe basically converge in Visakhapatnam on the 14th and 15th of November to talk a lot around, trade, around future of industrialization, around climate, tech and innovation, geoeconomic frameworks, and other very interesting parts of it. So with that, and without much ado, so what I'd like to do is to basically, if you could actually put your hands together and thank Minister Shri Lokesh Garu for your time and your listening. And for Honorary Consul Dr. Sushil Kumarji. And of course, Deepak Gupta, who is basically the chair of AIBC. And to Abhay Mehta, who's sitting here, who's the quiet achiever behind the scenes, and to the large team who actually put this thing together. So thanks so much for taking the time, and please do network. And I think there are some, I guess, lunch and drinks, I guess, available. So please have a network. And I'm not too sure if the minister is available. If it is, then probably some of the questions which were not answered, you can ask some of his team or himself when he has the time. So thank you so much for coming along. Just one second, yeah.
Australian Religious Council has put expression of interest for the CII Summit in Viber for 14 and 15 of November. So please visit our website. You will see if you want to register. It's very probably just is coming. So that will be part of the process, application and what we talk. Also on speech in EDB, you can also organize a webinar sometime in coming week. Delegation. Some of the questions which have not been answered, you probably can answer it there. And just before we go, we'd like to have a photograph. We will come on this side, and the minister will be here. We'll take one good photograph. No, they can come here. Yeah, please, if you can come this side. Yeah, this side. Yeah, you can be here. You can use the chair if you have to stand on the chair.
Which one is going
Thank you. Yeah, I think one here. Up here?
Yeah, yeah.